Hello friends. Now let us take up training session 2. In this training session itself, we start doing programs. In this, 2C programs we write. For that, I don't expect any background of you. And one more thing you have to grasp is, in this, whatever relevant concepts and all that I am going to explain. For them, I represent as CZ1. CZ1 means concept zone 1, concept zone 2, concept zone 3. Like that, whatever are the relevant for the program you are writing, I explain them and you understand them like this. Programs CFG1, CFG2. C feel good series 1 means first program, second program, third program, like this. So in this training session, we perform two programs, that means CFG1, CFG2, and I explain four relevant concepts. Those are named as CZ1, CZ2, CZ3, CZ4. One thing I am telling you, doing programs is one aspect. Organizing them is another aspect. In order to organize any programs or any documents, you have to give appropriate names. Otherwise, today you may remember, tomorrow you may remember, after 1 week you forget. That's why whenever you are giving names, you should be very careful, think in long term and give appropriate names. That's what I am suggesting. Okay, in this training session, 4 concepts and 2 programs we perform. Okay, first one, CZ1. What is compiler? Actually, before doing programs in any language, not only C, any language, you must know about one software. This is compiler. Compiler, it is a software, and you must know about it. What is the purpose of that? But for your information, for every language, whenever they release, along with the language, one specific compiler is developed. C compiler, C++ compiler, Java compiler, Python compiler. For every language, one unique compiler is there. That compiler is not there, we cannot perform any programs. Okay, now briefly I explain here, just a pointer. Actually, computer's language is binary, 1, 0. That means whatever characters we are using on keyboard, for every character, one specific code is there, like this and all that. Suppose this is there. Yes, for example sake, I am showing to you, and like this, for every character we are using, for that one specific binary code is there. Why it is called binary? Only computer's language is binary. In that only 2 characters we use, 1, 0, and by combination of that only, for all characters whatever we see on keyboard, for all of them proper representations are made. Okay, that you understand. Now if you take up any language, those are not written in binary. Actually, we use short words of English, digits whatever we use, symbols whatever we use, all that we use. But how computer can understand? One thing, I know only English, you know only Hindi. If I speak in English, how can you understand that? Because you do not know English. I do not know Hindi. If you speak in Hindi, I cannot understand. Then what is required? Here, computer's language is binary, using ones and zeros. We are using almost English language digits and symbols. That's why one translator is required. That translator software only is called compiler, and in the concept I explain in detail. Don't worry about it, just have a small idea. Okay, that is concept zone 1. Concept zone 2, second concept is Gdp Online Compiler. Actually, Gdp Online Compiler, I told you, for every language a specific compiler is there. But Gdp Online Compiler is an app. By using this instead of conventional C compiler, if you use that, lot of advantages are there, because it supports 20 plus popular languages. Actually, if you are writing C program, C compiler you have to use. If you have to write a Java program, Java compiler you have to use. But around 20 compilers are supported by GDP Online Compiler. So, and using this also much easier than conventional compiler. That's why I am introducing GDP Online Compiler, and I recommend to perform all the programs on GDP Online Compiler. By that you can save a lot of time. You enjoy it. Of course, that choice is yours. Just I am recommending it to you. And one more thing, if you learn multiple languages like C, C++, Java, and all that, on one compiler only you can perform all the programs. One more advantage, what I am doing now, three web series I am releasing: C web series, Java web series, and Python web series. So all the programs, almost same programs I am giving in each language. That's why shifting from one program to other program, switching is very easy. Then that procedure I am explaining to you. If you are interested, GDP Online Compiler you can use for all the languages. The simple procedure. Just 5 minutes if you watch, you can use that. Only one limitation of that is without internet you cannot use that. Okay. Thereafter, CFG1 first program. Actually, we write our first C program. In this, task is very simple. One simple text we write. We call it as a string. Simple text we write. Program task may be simple or bigger. The structure is same only. The structure, 100 lines program or one line program, the structure is same. That's why in this program, task is very simple, but you will learn many things. Thereafter, CZ3, programming conventions and rules. Actually, this is very important that you are ambitious to evolve as a professional programmer. Actually, there are certain rules and conventions. Rules means you must obey them. Conventions means you should give respect and obey them. If you don't follow conventions and all that, nobody can penalize. But if you are a good citizen, you follow that. Simple example I give you. Suppose there is a one-way traffic. If you go against that, you are penalized because you are committing an offense. You are violating a rule. That is the impact of rule. Rule means whether you like or not, you must obey that. As far as conventions are concerned, good citizens follow that, bad citizens never care for that. Actually, using footpath is a convention. So, if you are a good citizen, use the footpath. If you don't use footpath also, some warning may be given, but you never be penalized. In the same manner, in programming, rules are there, conventions are there. Every time I explain both, but you give respect to conventions and use them. Then only, if you follow conventions only, people recognize you as a good programmer. Otherwise, just getting a result is not very important. So, follow all the conventions. By that only, you will be evolved as a disciplined programmer, and in turn, you can explain to somebody whatever conventions you learn and all that. They also grow as good programmers. All good practices I explain. All that you give respect and follow. If you don't follow, also get result. Not just getting result is important. So, getting result is result, and following conventions are equally important. That you must know. Thereafter, CFG2, using new line sequence. Actually, whenever we are getting result, suppose this is result. Suppose this is a marks report, all that I am putting. So, simply putting it is result only. But what we are expecting, we are format it. If we have to format and all that, you have to break the data. For that purpose, one new line sequence is provided. New line, this is called new line sequence, where you write that it breaks the line. By that only we can format things. So that is very important. Every program you are supposed to use that. That is CFG 3 concept, and thereafter CZ4. CFG2 program, CZ4, using standard C library. Actually, already I explained to you, standard libraries are very much useful. for getting the result very easily. Now, in this standard C library functions, actually in the previous training session in function oriented programming paradigm, I explained about them. Actually, every programming language provides you a standard library. Standard library provides you ready-made functions. Ready-made functions, just you call them and use. Just simple example I give you. Suppose square root. Simply seeing the name, you can understand what it does. If you give an argument value to that, it calculates square root of that and returns here, and you can store in some variable. Suppose any big number you give, suppose 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9, like any number you give, it calculates the square root of that and give it. For that, suppose if you have to manually calculate, you have to spend lot of time and you have to waste, and you may commit mistake. So this type of hundreds of ready-made functions are provided. One more example also I tell you. You have to calculate power of 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8. What does it mean? 12,345 to the power of 678. If you have to calculate manually, how difficult it is. So, but the type of ready-made function is provided, then whatever result it gives, you can store in that. In that way, many standard library functions are there. You must know about them. Only what you have to know, it's syntax you have to understand. For square root, one argument we are giving. For these two arguments we have given, and depending on the function, standard library function, how we have to use that we have to know. That's it. That's it. We get result, accurate result automatically. By that we can save a lot of time, and without errors we can develop programs, and you can enjoy programming. For that, hundreds of ready-made functions are provided. Those are like in library, those are classified into groups and all that, and provide in the library, like mathematical functions, standard library functions, like that. Many functions are time oriented functions. Like that, all the hundreds of functions are classified into few groups and are provided to you, and you can use them wherever you require them.